It seems like everywhere you look these days, the global economy is just, well, kind of throwing itself for a loop.
Yeah.
Families are having a tough time making ends meet, and honestly, it's hard to see any kind of clear path ahead.
Right.
But that's actually what we're diving into today, a potential solution that's really been making waves,
Okay.
blockchain.
All right.
And before you switch off thinking this is just for, like, the hardcore crypto folks out there,
Yeah.
this is something that could impact everyone, even if you've never even touched Bitcoin in your life.
Exactly. And that's what's really exciting about what we're looking at today. We're not even talking about Bitcoin here. It's
Okay.
something much bigger, I'd say.
Okay.
DeFi.
DeFi.
Decentralized finance. So imagine a world where you don't need a bank to access financial services. DeFi uses blockchain to essentially connect people directly. It cuts out the middleman, those traditional institutions we're so used to.
Okay, so fewer banks, lower fees, access for everyone.
Oh.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty amazing, almost utopian vision.
It does.
But I got to say, I'm a little skeptical. I mean, we've heard these promises before, right?
Yeah.
What makes this different from all the get-rich-quick schemes and, the NFT crashes and all the other sort of crypto chaos that we've been seeing?
You're right to be cautious. There's been a ton of hype.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of volatility in the crypto world, that's for sure.
For sure.
But that's actually why what we're going to deep dive into today is so interesting.
Okay.
Our source is really focusing on a very specific approach called pool funding, which aims to be more stable and reliable than a lot of the other, I guess you could say, crypto chaos we've seen.
All right, pool funding. That's a new one for me. Can you break it down? What's the core idea? I mean, how is this different from, say, just buying Bitcoin and just hoping that it goes up in value?
It's completely different. It's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
Pool funding is really more about generating a consistent passive income.
Right.
Think of it like building wealth steadily over time, not just gambling on, on those price swings.
Right, right.
And the key is that it uses a system of reciprocal rewards so participants kind of benefit from each other's contributions.
Hold on. Passive income. That's one of those phrases that always makes me a little wary.
Yeah.
How exactly does this platform make enough money to keep those rewards going long term? There's got to be more to it, right?
Absolutely. So the system is powered by 4 different unique tokens. You can kind of think of them as the engine of the whole platform.
Right.
You've got PFI for staking, which basically means you're committing your tokens to support the network and earning rewards in return. Then there's PFB for governance, which gives you a say in how the platform is run and how it evolves.
Okay.
And there's more. Each token kind of plays its own specific role in making the whole thing work.
All right, I'm starting to get the picture here.
Yeah.
But the source also mentioned something about smart contracts and transparency. I mean, we hear those terms all the time, but in this context, what do they actually mean?
That's a great question. Smart contracts are essentially self-executing agreements. So they're written in code and stored on the blockchain.
Okay.
And what that means is transactions happen automatically when certain conditions are met. So it really cuts out any need for, manual intervention or a middleman.
Okay.
It reduces the risk of human error or manipulation. And transparency in this context really means that all transactions are recorded on the blockchain and anyone can see them. So there's no hidden fees, no shady dealings. It's all out in the open.
So is that what sets pool funding apart from the riskier side of the crypto world, that emphasis on transparency and security?
Exactly. It's about building trust and stability, which is really crucial for attracting people who actually want to build long-term wealth and not just chase those, quick profits.
Right.
And this kind of ties into a phrase from the source that I found really interesting: the luxury economy.
The luxury economy. Okay, that's a new one. We were
Mhm.
talking about blockchain and maybe, shaking up the traditional financial system.
Yeah.
What does luxury have to do with any of this?
I know, it's a bit of a head scratcher, but if we connect the dots, what they're suggesting is that if this system really delivers on its promise of reliable wealth generation,
Yeah.
it could give people a level of financial freedom and control that they just never thought was possible.
Oh.
And so luxury, not in the sense of like yachts and fancy cars,
Right.
but luxury in the sense of having choices, having security, being able to pursue your passions, and not constantly stressing about money.
Oh, I see. So it's almost like a new definition of luxury.
Yeah.
It's not so much about the material things, but about having control over your time and, ultimately your future.
Exactly.
Okay, so for our listener who's just tuning in and hearing about all of this for the first time, what's the one key takeaway you really want them to walk away with?
I'd say the main takeaway is that blockchain, when it's done right, can be a really powerful tool. And not just for, the tech insiders.
Right.
Pool funding, with its focus on stability, transparency, and long-term growth, represents a very different way of thinking about how to build wealth. It's not about getting rich quick, but more a potential path toward, I guess you could say, real financial empowerment.
Okay, and for those who are listening who are intrigued and want to dig a little deeper, the source actually suggests reaching out to the person who shared this deep dive with them.
Absolutely.
Seems like a good place to start, right?
Always best to do your own research, ask questions.
Absolutely. Great stuff today. Really appreciate you taking this deep dive with us.
Glad to be here.
And for all of you listening out there, here's something to ponder.
Okay.
If traditional financial systems are struggling so much, could these decentralized platforms be the key to a more equitable and accessible financial future for everyone?